Have you ever had a group project assigned at work, and your very first thought was, how do I get out of this? Have you ever done something by yourself that would have taken a team 3 times as long and still preferred it that way? If that's you, you are about to feel incredibly seen. Because what most people call being a loner at work isn't a character flaw. It's a specific psychological wiring. And today, we're going to break down exactly what that wiring looks like and why it makes complete sense. At some point in your life, someone told you you need to be more of a team player, that you're too independent, that you should open up more, collaborate more, let people in more. And somewhere along the way, maybe you started to believe them. But here's what nobody tells you. The psychology of people who always work alone has nothing to do with avoidance. It's not arrogance. It's not being difficult. It's the way your brain and your nervous system are actively protecting you in a way most workplaces were never designed to recognize. Here are the 5 hidden psychological reasons why some people always work alone. Number 1, your brain is running more tabs than most people even know how to open. There's a concept in psychology called cognitive load. Think of it like your brain's desktop. Every task, every conversation, every new decision from someone else is another open application taking up processing space. For most people, group collaboration feels energizing. The social stimulation actually compensates for the mental cost. But for you, every update from a teammate, every shared check-in, every hallway conversation, that's another tab. And your brain doesn't close tabs easily. It holds everything. It processes deeply. Researchers call this sensory processing sensitivity. And here's the part they don't put on motivational posters. People who score high on it aren't weaker processors. They're deeper ones. Working alone isn't isolation, it's bandwidth management, and your brain is simply protecting its most valuable resource, its own depth. Number 2, you've learned that depending on yourself is the safest thing you can do. This is where attachment theory comes in. Attachment theory, in simple terms, explains how our earliest relationships shape the way we relate to people today, in friendships, at home, and yes, at work. People who consistently prefer to work alone often have nervous systems that learned at some point that relying on others could lead to disappointment. Not because people are bad, but because the lived experience of being let down, missed deadlines, inconsistent effort, misaligned standards left an emotional imprint. So the mind adapts. It builds an internal system, a reliable one. You. Here's what nobody tells you. That kind of self-reliance isn't insecurity in disguise. It's your nervous system making a completely rational decision based on completely real past data. You're not closed off, you're just efficient. Number 3, your brain reaches a state most people never get to experience. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and yes, that name is exactly as complicated as it sounds, spent decades studying what he called the flow state. That's the experience of being so fully absorbed in a task that time disappears, distractions fall away, and your best thinking just arrives. His research consistently showed that flow is most accessible under 2 conditions: complete focus and minimal interruption. For people who always work alone, this isn't a preference, it's neurological. The moment a collaboration is introduced, a question, a check-in, a shared decision, the flow breaks, the depth resets. And once you've experienced that level of focus, group work doesn't just feel less comfortable, it feels less effective. You're not being stubborn. Your brain has tasted something most people have only read about, and it doesn't want to settle for less. Number 4, your nervous system is regulating itself, and it's doing it brilliantly. If you've ever worked in a group setting and felt a low level of tension you couldn't quite name, that hum has a name. It's called co-regulation anxiety, the subtle, chronic stress that comes from having to align your emotional and behavioral pace with other people's. In group environments, you're not just doing your work, you're monitoring tone, reading energy, adjusting your pace, managing dynamics. And if your nervous system is wired for sensitivity, it's doing all of that on top of the actual task. Working alone shuts that down. Your nervous system can finally exhale. This isn't antisocial behavior. Nervous system regulation is a basic biological need, and for many people, working alone is simply the most efficient way to meet it. Your need for a quiet space isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Number 5, you have an unusually high internal locus of control. Psychologists use this term to describe where a person believes their results come from. People with a low internal locus of control feel like life happens to them. Their success depends on luck, other people, or circumstances beyond them. People with a high internal locus of control feel like life responds to them. They believe their effort, their decisions, their discipline directly shape what happens next. People who always work alone tend to sit at the high end of this spectrum. Here's why that matters. When you deeply believe that your output is a direct reflection of your input, sharing that equation with variables you can't control, another person's standards, work ethic, or timeline, doesn't feel like collaboration, it feels like risk. You're not a control freak, you're someone who takes their results seriously enough to protect them. So here is the reframe I want you to take with you today. You're not antisocial. You're not difficult to work with. You are not broken because group collaboration doesn't come naturally to you. Your preference for working alone is a composite of deep cognitive processing, a well-adapted nervous system, neurological access to flow states, a rational attachment history, and a powerful belief in personal accountability. That is not a character flaw. That is a psychological profile. The world will keep telling you to get out of your comfort zone and learn to play nicely, and sometimes that feedback has its place. But you are allowed to know yourself. You are allowed to build environments that honor how your mind actually works. You are not a loner. Your psychology is simply operating at a frequency most workplaces haven't been designed to accommodate. Which of these 5 hit you hardest? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll see you in the next one.